on my mind. So let's hang out and go for a run. Now, we're navigating some back pain today. That's the title. So we'll see exactly how far we actually go. It might be much shorter than 7 miles. But Mondays are normally a long run. So excited to see what we can do. I'm going to focus a lot on form today. So if the form's not there, we're going to cut it short. So we navigated a pretty substantial relocation a couple weeks ago. 1 second. Awesome. So our family relocated like 12 times over the course of a year to get to Japan. And then I worked for Johnson & Johnson for 2.5 years out here, a decade total. It was a good rotation. And I was offered a return path to the US, but ultimately we decided to make our exit and continue life out here, which was a massive jump. So we just completed our 13th move in order to stay in Japan. Whew. And during that, kind of like the very last day of it, we got into go mode. Basically, we had to have our old house completely cleared out, which was super challenging. Oh, nice rubble. I didn't know they knocked that sucker down pretty quick. We had to have our old house completely cleared out, and I was taking like tons of trips between the two houses, getting it done. And even with all my strength and conditioning training, eventually, just based on fatigue and pushing past fatigue, I torqued my back. And I'd had a pretty severe back injury prior to all this, about 5 years prior. And that led me down a path of physical therapy, strength and conditioning training. But I had rehabbed it. So now I'm like easily triggerable. It manifests the worst when I sit on my butt, particularly on the ground, which most normal humans sit in chairs. But when you have a baby, it's different. Like, you're always on the ground changing a diaper. Now, in the old house, we had room for like a changing table. But when we moved into this new pad, we got rid of a ton of stuff. And we got like a little storage box to keep the can't live without, basically my music equipment and sentimental crap. But it's like if I sit on the ground for hours, changing diapers, playing with the kids, or yesterday what got me, organizing the entertainment console, doing all the cable management, because I'm super meticulous. It can re-aggravate my spine. It's hard for me to sit legs cross-legged with good posture for an extended period of time. So anyway, by the end of the day, lower back was triggered again. And I was aware of it, but still had to then be on my feet, cook dinner, get all this stuff going for the family. So for today's run, some things I'm trying to be mindful of: form, core. I want to get good cardio. I want to challenge myself, but I don't want to start this day injured. My hope is that good, familiar, functional movement will work in my favor, but rest can at times also work in your favor when you're injured. So I'm trying to find a sweet spot. So on paper, 7 miles, but we'll see, right? So we're at like 0.6 miles. I'm gonna see if I can make it to a mile and get my form under control. The reason I say that, on any run I do, it never really starts off clean. Like there's always something that could be a little bit better, but I'm gonna reduce my pace. And what I'm trying to do is pull in my abs, brace my core, lean forward. But it is quite tricky. So, dragonfly. So we'll see. Alright, let's walk for a minute. Pull the impact out. Still get some distance. It's freaking hot. As you go from June to July in Japan, it never gets any cooler. So, one of the things I'm focusing on the walk, tucking my core. So we'll do like a little deadlift, kick the legs back, squeeze at the top, kick the legs back, squeeze at the top. Whew. Let's walk for a little bit. It's a beautiful river. So, I'm noticing, because we said today the goal was form, right? I'm noticing some weird compromises occurring in my lower chain, like below the back. So, my left quad, which is kind of like the front muscle on your thighs, it's like over fatigued, which normally I don't run with that quad. I mean, you use it when you lift your leg up, but when I jog, I don't lift my legs very high. I typically stay in a light controlled movement. It's not where I get fatigued anyway. New house, by the way. It's a nice one. This area is growing, which is crazy. Let's do another deadlift. So yeah, a lot of fatigue right on top of the quad and the knee. And I know that part of the fatigue is coming from like discomfort at the back. So it's just working its way down the chain. So for me, being a very reasonable, recovered and injured human, that's like, cool. Get your cardio a different way. Get a little processing time and cut it. The reality is we don't have a half marathon to run in 5 weeks. It's in, 18. So we're not technically on that grind where we have to push through stuff. And even with that, you always want to be reasonable, right? Like when I did the DadBod half marathon training program, I recorded 16 weeks worth of workouts in real time. So all my strength work, all my runs, just to bring people into my transparent journey so that they can go out and get their own half marathon. And like week 10, it was week 8 or week 10, I can't remember. Somewhere close to the 16-week mark, I got railed by COVID. And it was like the point in your training where like the mileage stacks up. Oh, I gotta do a deadlift. Oh. So part of it's hamstrings. Not hamstrings, hip flexors. My hip flexors are asymmetric in their flexibility and strength. I'm working on it. Push the butt back. Squeeze up the top. Nice. It's so hot. So, like I got railed by COVID, and I was kind of at this point of like, do I try to run and push through COVID to make these workouts perfect? Now let's sit here for a minute. Get some river sounds. Whew. Did I push through it? And spider webs. I think I'm okay. Anything big and scary behind me? There's some little ones. You know, or do I give my body the space and time it needs to recover and then jump back in and just double stack my workouts? This means going from like 8 miles to 10 miles and 10 miles to 12 miles. And trust that people doing the program who don't have COVID will do their work to finish the journey. And where I landed is I needed to rest enough to recover so that I could get back out there and get it done. Whew. And it's kind of where today is. I wanted to go out, wanted to see where my body was at, try to figure out some of my neuromuscular back issues. That sit was really nice. And I'm privileged that I don't have a race I'm training for yet. I registered for the Tokyo Legacy Half Marathon, which is super hard to get into. Very exciting. I'm running it for charity, which means I just paid the Japanese Cancer Society a quantity of money so I could run the race, which I care about cancer. I worked on medical devices for cancer. But it was definitely like, how do I register for this thing? It would be fun to try to raise a ton of money for it. I haven't done anything in the humanitarian fundraising space for quite a few years. I used to do like a lot with food drives in actually the American Cancer Society. So there's still time. I might be able to train. So I'm going to tuck my core. I'm going to see if we can get back on it nice and easy. Well, I like this view because it makes me look fast. Puts a twist on my back. So I'm just going to give you that nice under chin sky shot for a little bit. Actually, I'll give you the front facing view. Yeah. That way I can really focus on trying to get everything mellow, leaning forward, good form. Trying to get my abs engaged. Stairs give me a chance to recalibrate. Just see if we can push out to the water safely. At least then we get that sense of accomplishment. We woke up. We had some discomforts. We were reasonable. But we got something out of it, right? Because when I was sitting next to that bridge, I was like, do I just walk home? Is this thing over? I was like, no, people might drop by the line. We still haven't gotten our grass yet. Grass is so hard to find in Japan. So let's go out there and get some, you know? Look at all this grass. We live in an urban concrete jungle. We need this. Oh, yo! Wing donut. What? Keep up the grind. Whap. Wait, where? What? Thanks, friend. Thanks for the like. 1 second. I am keeping up the grind. And we are approaching, out in the distance is a G-son. He's a larger, older grandpa. And when I do these early morning runs, he's out here crushing it. He does his walks. And there's a reason people in Japan live disproportionately longer than other countries. It's because they get up, they get out, and they move. If you want food, you walk to get it. If you go to work, you walk to the station or bike. Stand on your train, walk to work, repeat. Ohayou gozaimasu. Otsukaresama desu. He always waves and smiles at me. It's the best. We've had a very small, partial conversation, but I haven't gotten to the point where we always pass each other for literally 6 seconds. I think I've stopped once to try to talk, and most of the time I'm always live, so it's interesting. Would you rather watch a tree or a knee grow? Is this one of those do you like both jokes? Yes, I like both of these spoons, both of these trees.
Total distance 1 mile. Total time 16 minutes and 51 seconds. Split pace 16 minutes 50 seconds per mile.
Find a form that feels closer to safe. I have not had the audacity to say my form is perfect, but we are proving to ourselves that we can activate core, get out on our body, and work, find it. Just like we had to work a problem a little bit. No problem. One second. It's cool, all the folks out here at 5:10 in the morning, they're all OG-san and Oba-san. They're both grandmas and grandpas. And then occasionally, you got that upper middle-aged dad that knows what's up, running on the trail. Ohayou gozaimasu. Yeah, all jokes. Love your content. Hope your back pain gets better. If not, go to a chiropractor. Thanks for the encouragement, friend. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Honestly, having somebody to talk to, it's an encouragement. Yes, these runs, especially the long ones. Today's a long run day. Oh, they take forever. An hour, hour and a half, 2 hours. Once we start pushing towards half marathon, 2.5 hours. Making yourself do something that is physically and mentally taxing, exhausting, with no immediate, quick dopamine hit. Oh, it's so hard, man. So challenging to be out here. But I know the process is worth it for me. And it gives me kind of a space to clear my head, gather myself, figure out what to do with the week. So I guess I have my why. I don't even have a why though. Sometimes you just trudge through the muck because it's all you know. I gotta go. Well, thank you so much, Winged Owl. Appreciate you, friend. Keep changing the world. See you on the next run. But again, great having you. A little bit of chatter keeps me going as we're between mile 1 and mile 2, which is I don't know, 1.2 kilometers to 3 kilometers. Kind of. It's not a perfect conversion. 1.2 kilometers to like 2.6 maybe. Yo, it's the Dookie Man. What's the Dookie Man editing? It's me. I changed my name though. What was your name, friend? It's me. It's still slightly too general for me to guess. Unless you have some kind of inside rapport with me. How can I look at that form? Flawless. Remember that one crazy animal? Oh yes, I do. How are you, friend? I hope you are well. Hope you're enjoying your time here today. Good. So, that one crazy animal. We've had some conversations. It has been a while, I was just gonna say that. And, I've made thousands of videos. And God, I have no idea how many hours I've been live across all these platforms. So, please, if you will, catch me up on, who you are, loosely where you live, right? State or city's fine, country. Please don't share your address, blood type, social security number. And tell me how your day's going. What you got planned this week. What you want to be when you grow up. I don't know. Favorite t-shirt color. Because if you click the link for the shirt in the video, you could change the color to whatever you want. It's great. It's dry fit. You could go and run and lament at how challenging fitness is. And yet it's fun when it's done. Have to catch up with school. Excellent. School's cool for a season. How long have you been running? You're going to Chicago? I'm from Chicago. Now, when you say you're going to Chicago, like, are you going to Chicago? Or like the suburbs, like surrounding Chicago? And unfortunately, one day is not enough to do it all. But if you're going for work, you'll probably be plenty busy. If it's fun, I can help you out. Oh my God. We're going to the aquarium. Well, actually, funny story. I didn't win a state championship. I was a finalist in a state competition in Illinois for something called, it's so nerdy. Are you ready to just nerd out for a minute? It's okay, you can make fun of me. In high school, I had a U.S. history teacher. See, it's already a good start. And she was a fanatic about this academic competition called the Chicago Metro History Fair. And the whole thing was you do a deep research project on Chicago, whether it's a location, whether it's an event in history, like the Great Chicago Fire, or a key leader in the history of Chicago. And for me and my wife, because we were in the same class in high school, we're high school sweethearts, technically 8th grade sweethearts, we did a presentation on John Graves' Shed, who was a businessman and philanthropist. He got obscenely rich, and he founded the Shed Aquarium. He also established a lot of the Lakeshore Drive property becoming parks. I believe there's another museum out there. I think it's the Field Museum, but I can't remember. But he did tons for Chicago. Let's call us out as how can I was. Look at that form. Gorgeous. How much progress do you have on your weight loss journey? Ooh, with your mom's brother. Fun. Well, weight loss, at least currently, hasn't been my measure of success. See, there's a lot of different aspects of health and wellness you can focus on. I'm like 300 pounds, 6'3" big guy. For me, one of them is just showing up every day. So, like I'm on day 412 of my DadBod fitness journey. Another one is my ability to lift more push-ups, more squats, more lunges, higher deadlift. But the big thing is functional strength and mobility. I'm 32 years old, but I've had some pretty traumatic knee and spinal injuries. So at its worst, I have 2 compressed discs pushing into my spinal cord. Pretty serious pain. I was getting epidural injections every other week where they put a needle in your spinal cord to numb the region. And your physical therapy, training, consistent workouts, improved form, I've been able to regress the vast majority of that. So I don't wake up in pain anymore. Well, except this morning. That's another story. How can I lost? So anyway, Chicago Metro History Fair. We had to make like a poster board, and you stand in front of the board and you talk while people read the board. Oh, we're almost at 2 miles. Come on! Push! And yo, we got 2 likes today. This is crazy. Y'all are wild. By the way, that's Kawasaki. Tokyo. 2 different states. One's in Tokyo State. The other one is in Kanagawa. So we're hoping to run across that blue bridge over a river to get to Kawasaki. We'll see. We'll see where we land with form and distance, because however far we run, we gotta run back. So target was originally 7 miles. It's a little aggressive from a distance and timing perspective, so we'll see. But we're almost at 2 miles. Anyway, we made this poster board. Yo, Dookie, did you give us a 3rd like? Y'all are wild. Thank you so much, friend. It helps the YouTube gods see and bless our channel. I appreciate it. Feed the algorithm, and by extension, feed my family. It's such a great dynamic. Why are we still running? So, anyway, I did this whole board with my wife to document the story of John Graveshed. Dylan! Otsakara-samanes! How's it going? Ohio gozaimasu. Dylan is the first person to actually join our channel. He's got the DadBod expansion pack, and no perks other than knowing he's the first one to have it. So thank you, Dylan. Oh, I'm dying. It's great. It's a good run.
Total distance 2 miles.
And thanks
Total
for
time 28 minutes
your testimonial.
and 53
I've been
seconds.
putting
Split pace 12 minutes, 2 seconds per mile.
30 hours into my next YouTube video, and your testimonial is going to be a piece of it. So thanks so much, dude. It really helps. Hey, I think we're meeting in 2 days. It's so cool. I've been having one-on-ones with like all the people I exited J&J with. I have to go. No, I have to finish my story. Wait. Oh, 1 second. We're coming up on an Obasan, so I can't talk. It's rude. I'm back. Looking forward to it. Nice. There's Kawasaki, Dylan. So this is my bridge. We're back home. So I normally run this trail in Tokyo. Across the bridge, we're in Kanagawa. There's Kawasaki. And my family goes to a mall over in that city all the time for like dinner and stuff when I just can't even. Anyway, catch Dylan up in high school. Me and my wife were state finalists in a very exclusive academic competition called the Chicago Metro History Fair. Love the beautiful green space. I know. It's so hard to find in Tokyo. It's wonderful. It's one of the reasons I stayed. How gozaimasu. How gozaimasu. It's just, here, I'll give you the pretty view while I talk. So anyway, we made this poster about the history of John Graves' shed in the shed aquarium. And like, my dad worked at a ink factory. It's called Toyo Ink. And they're a Japanese company based in the US. And they made ink for printing presses, you know. So like McDonald's can print millions of extra large, supersized sodas and billboards and all that stuff. And in order for them to get clients, they would make these really high quality, glossy prints of different stuff in calendars and like posters, like huge, beautiful posters. Just help people feel the quality. I think their catchphrase is like, value you can see. Like you can actually see the difference on their quality of ink. And there's one poster or a calendar that we had at home because, you know, after I do all the promotional stuff for sales, my dad would bring it home and be like, all right, kids, here's your really cool poster. Like for us, super special. Connected us with his work. It's really aesthetic. We'd hang them up in our bedrooms. And for him, it like helped us connect with his ikigai and what he spent so much of his time and passion on. Slowly dying. It's the point of the run we're at. This is the slowly dying part, where you just kind of fade into nothingness. It's great. You look that way, I just can't bear it. But anyway, there's one poster he gave us that had this giant 3D looking goldfish with like its front eyeball popping out. Super high gloss. It was shiny. It was gold. It had shimmer. And because we're doing this picture or this poster on John Graves' shed and his story to found the shed aquarium and be a philanthropist, we cut out this big fish. We stuck it on some thick mat board, and then I used hot glue to make some mounting mounts. How is that was? And we like made it jump out from the board. It's awesome. I guess this is one of the first stories I've ever really told. I've never thought about this. We found like a hidden memory. It's like in Harry Potter with putting your face in that weird bowl. Surely, Tom, this is all hypothetical or whatever the potions master guy. Dumbledore looks like he's gonna die. But anyway, the fish popped off the poster board, and then we told the story of John Graves' chefs in like 6 main sections. And again, we found all these little posters of fish and little jellyfish and little tiny fish, and we cut them all out and we stuck them on the poster. We made like a little fish trail that pulled people's gaze and attention from one fish to the next. Friends, I don't want to run up this hill and cross this bridge. I want to go home. It's too far. It's too hard. Seriously, I really don't want to run up this bridge. But if I step now, we're at 2.5 miles. That'll get us 5, which is still good. But if I just take a couple more steps, it'll push us to 3 miles. And when you double that, that's 6. The problem, frick, is you have to double it to get back So anyway, we used all these fish to create this leading path to help people quickly see big goldfish. It's kind of like that hook. Come over here. You gotta see what we're talking about. You gotta learn about John Graves shit. It's gonna change your life. But then you follow the little tiny fish around the poster board. You read the whole story. And it delivers on your expectations. It's like actually a good story. It's actually really interesting. Nope. We're walking, but we're breathing. Notice we're still walking forward, darn it. Which means this hill will find us again on the way back. I'm gonna go and try to cross. I don't know. I think I'm gonna hit a gooey packet. Pretend that my supplements can carry me forward. They do actually help. But so anyway, I had all these little fish leading you through the story. And maybe we just gotta get our breathing under control as we walk to Kawasaki. Nothing wrong with walking on a run. I've talked about this hundreds of times. Today we're measuring distance, not speed. As long as we keep the heart pumping, keep our form, walking is just another lever to get you where you want to go, right? So we put together this poster board. It hooks people in. They read the story. They're convicted. The content itself was well researched. We went to the library. We went to, listen to this, a community college library, right? We got out of our knowledge circle and the limitations of our public school, and we went to a slightly more funded, larger public school. Read through old Chicago Tribune magazines for stories on John Graves shed, pulled some cool pictures, told a good story. Well, anyway, we were like a finalist at our school, so that got us to the regional championships. And then we were a finalist there, so that got us a ticket to the state championship. And every time that we got to another level, we revisited our story and our poster. We made tweaks. We practiced our presentation. Now you'd be asking, why did Joe and his wife that he met in high school care so much about John Graves shed and the history of Chicago from a philanthropic perspective? And I think it's a lot of times we like to think we're a product of ourselves. I like to think that the way we think, our perceptions are cheap, independent of everything around us, and that we care about what we care about because we care about it and it's right. And the reality is, I had a high school history teacher, Miss Hoytink. Shout out to Miss Hoytink, 10 out of 10 as an academic. Also historical power lifter, which is cool because she was my first perspective that women can lift in high school. That was really good for me. Being a little bit of a nerd and a meathead at the same time, because I straddled both worlds in football. Yips. Form. But Miss Hoytink created a culture in that classroom where we're going to care about this project. We're going to care about these stories because it's where we live, because I grew up in Chicago. North suburbs, technically. And we're going to see how far this journey can take us in good faith. She never gave us a guarantee that we would go to regionals, they would go to sectionals, that we would eventually go to downtown Chicago and compete. But for her, she recognized that this project space equipped us to be able to do our research, to tell a story and bring people into it, and to recognize that in some ways we are a product of what's come before us. And that was, her ikigai or her reason and purpose possibly for teaching high school. At least that's what I think. We're almost over the hill. Oh, because I am on. There's a lot of people on this bridge. Alright. Almost ready for this gooey packet. I'm not. I'm ready for this run to be over. I know that if I stand on this street right here and just wave my arm, I can hail a taxi that will bring me home for $35. So that is the price of me continuing to run, is $35 in my time. But I bet if I find a little bit of grit, and I refine my throttle and keep jogging step by step, I don't know, maybe we'll yield better results. By the way, Dylan and friends, and no pressure, Dylan, if I'm just on your side monitor, which again is a huge compliment. It's a very select place. You could have any YouTuber thing up there right now, and you've chosen me. Sometimes my phone gets super wonky on lives, and it just stops showing comments. And because I'm live off my phone instead of a GoPro, I can't reset it. So in the event that you all have been talking and I'm just blatantly ignoring you, it's just like Howard Stark. I'm limited by the technology of my time and data. 5G ain't all it's cracked up to be. Although it does cure COVID. You can go ahead and fact check that. Oh my God, the stuff that goes around on the internet. We're gonna eat one of these terrible packets. It's gonna suck. But it's got sugar in it. This bottle and other crap. So we can maybe motivate ourselves to get back to work, perhaps. We're gonna try to do it. You are, but still listening. Excellent. Dylan, you can pick then. This will be the one question, and then you can go and be focused on your Japanese. Should I do strawberry banana, tri-berry, or chocolate outrage? All three of them are garbage. They all taste like cream cheese frosting on a cinnamon roll that was left out in the sun for 2 days and mixed with like really intense artificial sweetener. It's brutal. They're all impalatable, and I whine through it every single time. So you get to choose my suffering, but it will empower me to continue on the journey. We're kind of walking to the 3-mile mark. I'm gonna do a couple deadlifts and see if I can turn this thing back on and get it done. Oh my God. It's so hot, dude. It's gonna be 99 today. Why? Love bananas, but artificial bananas, I know, isn't everyone's cup of tea. So, strawberry banana, tri-berry, or chocolate outrage. None of these are my cup of tea. I won't tell you any of my preferences. I mean, it's really whatever I prefer the least. I hope you don't pick. You'll smile though. I'll smile if you pick it. I'll still eat it. Builds character. Our 3-mile halfway point is like between this bridge and the bush. We'll eat a packet. We'll do 3 deadlifts to get our form. We'll lean forward and we'll start throttling home. We're about 43 minutes in, which means the return path is about 43 minutes or worse. So we'll see. But we made a hard choice today.
Total distance 3 miles.
Ooh, 3
Total
miles.
time 43 minutes and 56 seconds. Split pace 15 minutes 3 seconds per mile.
I'm gonna do a couple high knees with my core engaged. See if I can get some of my form back. Let's go, chocolate. Tri-berry sounds like it's just cough syrup. Oh my gosh, you're making this even worse than it is. Well, that's awesome, friend. Thanks for picking my least favorite flavor my whole life. The 2 flavors I've hoarded the most, besides mayonnaise, because mayonnaise is disgusting. Chocolate and coffee. Just can't be mainstream, you know. These things suck. Just had to pick chocolate. It's great. I'm gonna hold this against you, Dylan. Now every stream, every chance you got, you're gonna make me do the chocolate one. Oh! It's more milky than normal in a bad way. It's a cup of hot chocolate left out a little bit too long. Oh, sorry, a robe. It's just not fun. But we get to walk up the hill and run it. hopefully you're getting your $12.99 worth, Dylan. Dude, I am so excited for our Google Hangout. I've been thinking about it for like a week. And I'm actually glad like you booked it a little bit farther out because I had a couple other calls beforehand, which makes me feel more prepared to chat with you. Oh my God. I like my hands get sticky. My pocket gets sticky. The whole thing is awful. Woo. Put it back in our bag of sad. So, one of the things we got to work through, I shared this at the start of the live, is like our back is slipping a little bit. We injured it during the move. Because everything I do is apparently plural now in this community. So, what I really want to focus on if I'm running is good form. So, tuck my core, lean forward, small steps, slow steps, good form. So, it should be good. Thanks for grabbing some extra time. I meant to do that, totally slipped my mind. Hey, it's fine. And I believe in like serendipitous connection. I mean, like, I'm so happy I met you just at like a coffee table at Ethicon. Like, you made an effort, I made an effort. We both physically met before I went to Japan, and it put stuff in motion in the right way. And like, the success of my work in Japan tremendously higher because of your insights, partnership, big brain ideas, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, more than 30 minutes. You're in this special circle, Dylan. Not but actually I met with someone who's trying to get in the special circle. We had a good call. And I'm like, all right, how do I make space with everything else in my life? Because as I move into like consulting for different businesses, but also like different people, helping people tell their story, like, I'm like, I have to balance being me, because being me is incredibly generous. And I don't mean that in like a haughty, arrogant, oh, I'm so humble kind of boast. Like, I naturally give. And naturally is the wrong word, like it's a muscle that's been trained. But when I transition from working full time on what a boss or an organization tells me to do, to setting my own time, my own hours, and kind of my own set of purpose in the consulting space, if I give everything to everyone, first of all, I'll accomplish nothing. Like, I will not be fruitful in the work that I need to do, because there's a lot of deep work kind of stuff that I got on my plate right now. But the second place is like, I'll get burnt out and I won't have a sense of feeling fulfilled. So I can only take so many people with me on the journey in a tight circle, and I gotta figure out what's my wider hoop or my broader circle, right? But at the same time, to succeed in the consulting spaces, and a great example of this is like Kinetic Vision. Like, Kinetic Vision was so generous. They're a consultant. They helped me build some VR and AR tech in the surgical space, and I'll leave it that ambiguous, even though Dylan knows. But like, they were so generous in our partnership. They floated time, did extra work, did everything they could to make the project visible and successful. Like, they gave pieces away to continue the relationship, and just good people. And like, I am looking at that as a model of like, how much can I give away which is true to myself. Maximize the value that I just pass on. And trust that if I'm generous with other folks, like if I refresh others, I'll be refreshed. And that's kind of where I'm trying to figure things out right now. That's why I mentioned it in the email earlier, if you like joining the channel and how crazy that was. Because I think we've both been generous with each other over the last 2.5 years working together. Beautiful multicolored train today, by the way. That one's different. Love that. And like, I sent my transition email to a lot of people. I included a little YouTube video that provided some context. It's like 90 seconds, 60 seconds. Whew. Some people saw it. Some people commented on it. Dylan saw it. And immediately, without any prompting in the video, any context, joined. Like, grabbed the rope. Wish success for future followers. And that's like super cool. So that's how I want to work. Like, I gotta figure out how to maximize my time so I can do it. Or in some ways kind of like selectively choose my tribe incrementally as people get equipped and grow, spin them out on their own thing, and roll people into the next cohort. Because if you try to develop 100% of everybody, you'll develop no one. I don't know. This is all the wandering brain thoughts as I try to figure this crap out. Alright, let's walk. Now, from a form perspective, it's actually kind of solid. I have more tension on my left hip than my right hip. So what's happening is like my hip is kipped to one side. By the way, kipped was a huge design engineering debate on my project team once. I was trying to explain a mechanism that was binding in a certain direction. And we had like these 2 feet and a wobbler mechanism. It's actually a rack and double pinion. I designed it, it was kind of cool. We didn't use it, but we played around with it for a bit. And, it's so hot. Anyway, I was trying to help the lead design engineer, and there's like 2 other design engineers on the project at the time. And I was like more of an entry-level design engineer. I was like, well, yeah, see, like when I program the controls to push this mechanism this way, see, like the mechanism kind of kips to one side, like it's kipping. And they all looked at me, and I'm from Chicago, so I don't even know if that's like a common Chicagan. I'd be saying Chicago with a Canadian accent, which is just funny. I don't know if that's a common Chicagan accent. That's a Joe word, by the way. That's not a real word for anyone not from America. Apologize for my humor. Please don't start believing that there's a Chicago Canadian accent. That's not a thing that at least I've ever heard of. Oh, deadlift. So anyway, I'm not sure if kipping and kipped is like an expression from Chicago or from the Midwest, or maybe I had a football coach that used it, or it's completely made up in my head. But apparently engineers in Ohio don't think it's a real word or technical in any capacity. They wouldn't let me put it in any documentation, which I went on like a semantic argument with them. I lost. I got vetoed by my quality engineer. Spivak, if you ever cross paths with Spivak, he's like, you can't write that. That's not, we're not putting that in there. Find another way to explain that along the Z-axis, there is an unexpected rotation in the mechanism when pushing on the right driver, or something like that. I was like, fine, but it's so technical, it's so boring. It's kipped. It's just kipped to the side a little bit. We gotta figure it out. And that is why you need quality engineers. And then as I grew as a systems engineer, owning like all these requirement cascades for robotics or for the AR, VR stuff, I was like, if I go back to like little old Joe back then, no, Joe, you can't write kipped in this report. Nobody knows what that is. No one trained in the art would be able to tell you what in the world that means. Let's give you a beautiful shot. Yeah, check the time. There's nothing I can do about it. Oh, it's not 6 yet. Love Spivak! It's funny, Dylan. As long as you join the live and say hey, I'll just assume you're around. And until I see that there's 10 people or 100 people on the live, I'm pretty much just gonna talk to you. So I'm okay with some of these inside stories staying inside stories because I think it's hilarious. He wanted to go to Japan too, really? That's fantastic. No, he was great. At least that's how I remember it. Like, you know, if you message Spivak, again, I'm generalizing so you don't get his first name, but Alex is too general. Oh, well, whatever. Great quality engineer if anyone's looking to hire someone. He's great. I don't even know where he's at now. I don't know if he went out to the Bay or not. But, like, if you ask him, he might not remember that exact moment. What he may remember is I had done all of these automations for our first robotic testing. Now, we went through multiple iterations of robotic interfaces for our surgical robot and different semi-automated testing platforms because we had a team on the Google campus under a company called Verb Surgical, and we had instrument R&D teams in Cincinnati, where I was at. The instrument teams would make tools or instruments that would plop onto the robot. The robot team would make the robot. Very simple. Usually watching sometimes you're my podcast on the way home. Yeah, and there's no worries about responding. Again, it's just like, if I see your little bubble with your little big brain next to it, although right now you're a new subscriber, so you have the dead brain. Every month you get a new brain. So it goes from like dead brain to cool brain. There's a pretentious brain, there's a Frankenstein brain, cyborg brain, all the way up to like 2 years. Although I don't know if that requires a streak. Like, let's say you subscribe for 3 months and then you decide to stop because you want to, I don't know, go out to eat more or something. Or you cancel me for some strange reason. Then, I don't know if that streak continues if you ever come back. I would assume so. I don't think YouTube would punish you for that. I don't know. It's all the rambles. But anyway, what Alex may remember is that I had all these robotic automations. And I had done all the software. I was like one of 3 robotics controls engineers on the instrument team. And my goal was to get code off the ground to run these robotic interfaces. So they basically simulated what Verb Surgical would eventually develop. We would learn from it, change the architecture, learn from it, change the architecture. It's probably the iterative process of design. And yeah, let's just power walk. Walk and talk, get the mileage, it counts. Work on form. Maybe at mile 2 I'll jog. Whew. I guess these are podcasts, aren't they? Maybe I should just start recording these and putting them out as podcasts. Make a ton of content. Could be helpful. It's a little bit of work. But anyway, I had done all these automations, and it was like the classic flaw on any engineering team, of which not enough people, too much work, which isn't sometimes a good problem to have, but what almost immediately gets cut is good documentation, which is a bad process in an FD regulated industry, but every team's guilty of it at some point. And then what happens is the problem gets so bad that you eventually escalate the issue over and over again of, I can't write this document because blah, 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 blah. And then you have like, the project director has to escalate to the director of the VP and be like, listen, we got to stop this project for like 2 weeks and just get it out. Get it all written, get it all out, clean the slate, and then go back into the same iterative loop if this isn't prioritized. And now, good teams keep up with it, but good teams are also visible, well-funded, have enough people, and they can actually do the job. At our point, we were like, the only thing that mattered was time, and anything we can do to accelerate controls development, making an instrument prototype, putting it on the hardware, running the controls and seeing where it sucked. That was critical path, and just grind through that iteratively. But the problem is, like, if you're not documenting it well, because we had no automated analysis solutions, it's like even something as simple as like plotting motor torque, we just really weren't set up to do that initially. We had to build 100% of it from scratch. So it's like, do you prioritize showing the team their instrument's not working? Do you prioritize understanding why it's not working? And those were like the conversations we kept escalating. It's like, I remember sitting down with our project manager in a room, like locked in a room for like 4 hours. The project manager and the project director just peppered me with like, help me understand. That's my favorite like leadership quote. Help me understand. Like, help me understand why this isn't happening fast enough.
Total distance 4 miles. Total time 1 hour 1 minute and 12 seconds.
Nice.
Split
4
pace
miles
17
in.
minutes 16
It counts.
seconds
Let's
per
jog.
mile.
We could jog. Nice and easy. Small steps. Good form. But it was like, help me understand why this isn't progressing. Help me understand why you can't get the team motor torque curves and develop controls from the ground up and run testing automations to get us, you know, cyclic testing on our devices to failure. Tell me why I can't have everything. I was like, well, let me tell you why. And we like went to a whiteboard and I went through like the iterative loops required to develop this stuff. By the way, like, all this was on the fly. I was not classically trained in computer science. I was a mechanical engineer dabbling towards mechatronics, which is computer control of electromechanical systems. And there was like this huge gap in our organization. And I fluttered in. And then over the course of like 6 weeks, I became like one of the guys, right? One of the people that you like go to and ask what the heck's going on. You know, I started flying out to Google and working with their PhD robotics controls engineers, learning from how they were doing it, but also challenging certain ways they were doing it that weren't beneficial to the end product and the end user. Anyway, to get back to Spivak, in that sea of crazy, I had developed like 12 different robotics automations. So some of them would integrate different pieces of hardware, like a force gauge with a pin. One second. I guess I was with a pin positioned at a very specific location, a proprietary location, so we can clamp on it and measure our closure force and correspond that to the motor torques and the position, and make sure that we're driving the mechanism in either position or torque control to be nondescript about how we did it, even though those trained in the art could figure it out, which I guess now I am. I guess I lost. I have to be careful with language. Surgical robotics is a delicate place. So many secrets. Anyway, I had these 12 automations, and like, I had a flight to catch to get to cardio. It's like mile 4.5. We're in like the dead zone here. I have the juice, okay? It's within my capability now. My body believes it's being pursued by a tiger or a really fast bear, and the adrenaline has blocked all the pain receptors in my lower back. And that's exactly the sweet spot you want to be in when you work out for maximum safety. That's sarcasm. You don't want to do that. I still have a lot of form cues. It's a joke. But I could run. It's just like, it's a willpower. And I want to tell this long, enduring story that I'm dragging you all along with me on. I did this once to a live where I kept withholding the end of a story because people kept coming in. I kept going on these side paths. People were like, just tell me what happened with the guy in the trumpet. And I just kept like unpacking and unfolding the story. It was fantastic. It's so cruel. Maximum retention though. A little twist. Little twist, switch hands, twist, little twist. Now it's getting hot enough that my phone is physically getting warm. The sun is coming out. We're pushing probably 90, 92 degrees maybe. 6:02, my wife's supposed to be waking up to start her workout. We'll see where her resolve lands her. Hopefully she'll get her bottle, drink her pre-workout, get dressed, and start stretching. But based on depression, anxiety, and feelings of insecurity, I gotta get home to push her. That's my job. I'm her coach now. So that we could both be healthy and walk back obesity and preset diabetes and all the other problems that can take you out of the game early. That's why we're out here walking and suffering. But anyway, I had a plane to catch. I was supposed to do kind of like a robotic controls summit out at Google with that team and just get in the lab and figure out what the heck's going on. Because we had some instruments, we called them, what is it? I always mix it up. There's EB and EP builds. I always switch in my head. One's engineering builds, one's engineering pilot. I believe pilot is the first ones we do, like prototyping. And then the engineering builds are like when you're actually doing the real engineering. Oh, I got them flipped. We have a process. There's a flow chart. People know it. And people use different words in different industries, but it's pretty much the same stuff. Anyway, we were in an engineering pilot. So maybe with this one we had like 30 of them for some key testing. Because you can't really get even like full statistical significance across multiple test flows with a small sample like that. You can get some significance. Maybe it had to be 32. We have some kind of stats and magic we do. It's not magic, it's science. But you add one and all of a sudden it throws off your results. It's hilarious. All right, let's run. We can do it. Let's run. Let's get to mile 1 left. We can do it. It's maybe 0.4. Now 7 miles. 0.4 miles. Get to work. Anyway, the Spivak story. And I'm sure Dylan will forward this in like, Alex, you gotta hear this story that you won't remember and this other story that Joe never finished. Because I don't have Spivak's email. Hopefully he'll remember me. Anyway, good guy. But I had a plane to catch. I had to go to the summit. I just had my son, my precious baby boy. And I had to get all these controls automations off the ground so that the team could run it at the push or multiple pushes of a button with me remote. This is pre-COVID, friends. Okay? So I'm like, how the heck do I make software that works, that runs, that acquires data, that exports it so we can plot it, and a procedure that shows them the GUI and everything they need to step on and the order that they need to do things so that they can get good data reliably. And like part of this lies in my inability to draw a line and be like, hey guys and ladies, hey everyone, you're not going to get all 12 automations. How about we focus on getting the first 4? But being a fan of over-promising and under-delivering early in my career, I did the inverse and I paid dearly. Just 1 second, I gotta run past some people. Does it ever get easier? Does anyone know if running long distance in Tokyo in the heat, does it ever become like pleasant? I'm still waiting. I haven't figured that one out yet. Okay, so long story. No, there's no long story short here, okay? It's a long story, it's a good story. If I can finish and breathe. All the sounds. And Dylan's gonna know me more than he's ever known me if he really watches my content. He just got polished work, Joe. Oh, I was vulnerable and open, but you never got like the running while dying noises. Okay. Because Iowa, making old Japanese ladies smile as this giant 6-foot white man comes wheezing by, talking to himself like a crazy person. Okay, so I paid dearly. And what happened? I bring my newborn son in his jogger stroller because I used to jog with him. Quickly lost motivation for that. It's too heavy. Let's walk. Whew, we almost made it to the 1 mile out. We're like maybe 1.3 miles out, and plenty sore, plenty fatigue, plenty wobbly. But I think through the way we've triaged form and kind of eased into it, we're out of the injury bubble, which is good. So I don't feel at risk of being wrecked physically after this. We'll see what happens when the bear adrenaline fades away. I really want to drink though. Let's see if there's a water fountain over here. It's getting to be that season. But I'm working on all these automations in the lab, fighting with it. Bring my son into the lab. He's just cooing because he's a baby. Because my wife needed to sleep or do something. I can't remember. Oh, she was teaching kids in China English. She was part of this platform called VIP Kids for Side Hustle. So she's teaching. I'm watching my son hovering over this robotic test stand, fighting with it, building automations with no formal programming credentialing. You should see my code. It's all spider webs. It's awesome. And I'd basically look at what other people on my team did, and it's classic. Copy and paste, but understand the intent, tweak a couple variables, bring it to life. But I was like a wizard to the people on my team. Meanwhile, every day imposter syndrome's like, you're an idiot, you don't belong here, they're gonna expose you, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fail. I was kind of like on my shoulder the whole time. As opposed to, you're learning, you're delivering value, you're gonna grow, it's gonna help, keep moving forward. Like none of those good like shoulder chats. It was like, if you don't figure this out, you're gonna die. Like that's like the severity my brain works in sometimes. It's kind of how this jump feels a little bit from J&J into the consulting content creating space. It's a pretty wild jump. Video coming on that later next week, maybe I'll stretch it out a little bit. But anyway, breathe. I'm like pushing towards like 1 or 2 in the morning trying to get all this code to work. Finally, there's this like miracle moment. I think I had one function, and I had made this mistake in college, so I think I repeated it, where instead of writing input as the function name, it was input with an M. So hard to find. Let's keep going. We should make this like a drinking game. I don't play drinking games. Maybe 1 or 2 in college, but it really wasn't my scene. But I've always liked the novelty of like, how do you turn something mundane into something fun? You really can't do that with running. I was like, what if every time somebody passes me, I walk? And if they pass me, I jog. Like, let the people decide which interval I'm on. I was like, no, it's a bad game. It's the wrong game right now. How about we just try? Trying sounds good. Well, so, anyway, I got all the code to work. I fixed the input to input error probably around 1:20 in the morning. My son asleep in his car seat. I probably fed him once or twice. Put some Cheerios on his plate. Yeah. Whew. Great bonding experience. Come on, we gotta get to the end of this. I gotta finish before the sun gets higher. I'm not gonna make it. I just need to hit mile 5 it's like a lament and be overwhelmed by how much harder getting to mile 6 will be. I finish all these automations. It works. You know, you have that beautiful like moment, like Apollo 13, when they actually get Gary Sinise back to Earth. You know, it's Tom Hanks. Whoever Twitch plays Joe's Morning Run. Oh, that's awesome. So we're so close. So then it's like 1:30, everything works, and then I'm like, oh crap.
Total distance 5 miles. Total time 1 hour 16 minutes and 2 seconds. Split pace 14 minutes 49 seconds per mile.
5 miles. We did it. We did it. Now we just gotta do more of it. Yay. So hot and uncomfy. And so I'm like, crap, I gotta make a procedure. And then I'm like, crap, I gotta make like 12 procedures. Like, the team's gotta run all of these. So I put my little dummy device on because we had devices that were destroyed in prior testing that we would use to safely build controls automations. There's no such thing as safety in early dev testing because we destroyed crap, we destroyed motors, we destroyed devices, all kinds of wild failures. And we're in like pure willpower mode right now, friends. This is not good anymore. It was never good to begin with, but we're definitely in the not good phase. And so I put the dummy device on. I start running all of the automations. I take pictures of all the steps. Put the device on the test stand. Start the initialization sequence. Confirm successful homing of mechanism. Position test stand load cell. 0 load cell gauge with testing automation. Progress closure to this position. Confirm output. Confirm that no motor torque instability occurs, because eventually we had real torque playing on the screen. It was sick. The stuff I made, even though like a real programmer would look and be like, this idiot, which is what happened. We hired real CS people. My job got outsourced to other people on the team. I got eclipsed, but for a season, I gleaned everything I needed for the larger mission. And then I would like take all these screenshots, and then I get home, and I'm supposed to like fly out the next morning. I don't know if it was like a Tuesday flight or something wild. It's like a short trip. This isn't the one where I forgot my driver's license, so that's a whole nother story. Panic. Thought I forgot my driver's license, but it was in my phone case, which I never do. But it's because I ran the Cincinnati half marathon the day before. And I had to like cancel the tickets, buy new tickets, tell my manager, drive home, come back, miss my flight, realize it's in my pocket, freak out. It was like just spiral everywhere. I thought that $400 really mattered to the company. Meanwhile, they're spending like $500 a night on hotels to get us all out to California every week. It didn't matter, but to me it was like the end of the world. Okay, walk up these stairs of doom. Fortunately, there's a water fountain up here. Not a water fountain, there's a vending machine. Whew, but I didn't bring coins. It's my own poor preparation. I gotta start bringing coins with me again. I used to do that all the time. And I missed all the water fountains that are out there, so. Definitely wobbly this last 0.7 miles. Let's take some momentum. Look at that. It's shady though. Shade's nice. Hip hip hooray shade. So, the Spivak story. In conclusion, this ends up being rolled out for another 5 parts. Take all my screenshots, hop on my flight. I go home, I go to bed, I hand my baby to my wife. Drop the ring in Mordor, right? And then there's the vending machine. No credit card. Bummer. And I fly out and at the airport in the morning and all that night after a full day supporting the controls summit. I'm doing documentation, firing off like the initialization procedure, the closure force procedure, blade, you know, I can't say these words, all the different automations. Keep going. Our legs are dead. Keep going. So I keep firing all these procedures off. I use our lovely Ethicon GDP good documentation practices, templates. Got all the right stuff in there. I'm firing them off for review from my production engineer, my design engineer, my QE, who's Spivak. And every time I send it to Spivak, he sends it back with red lines everywhere. And I'm like, I just want to sleep. But because of GDP and compliance, I'm complaining. Okay, this is, I'm embodying the stress of the moment. Spivak was right. I overpromised. But because of compliance, had some deadlifts. We can't run this testing until, or can't is the wrong word. To be compliant, we can't run this testing until the procedures are approved by the 3 approvers. It's like good practice, right? Because you don't want to go and start running the test and be like, actually, press these 4 buttons. Well, we made this shift on the 5th device because when you shift something, you can shift the outputs. Oh my God, I found a hidden water fountain. I forgot about this one. Friends, we may live, unless the dog lady wants it. Oh no, not dog lady. Okay, it's all mine. Excellent. Time for Jeff's water fountain. It's always a little bit more intense than I'm expecting. It's terrible. All right. Well, that's just enough, right? We got 0.6 miles. Wait, I'll do a walk. We'll walk along this river. We'll walk up the steps of doom. We'll walk the plateau of doom. We'll climb the second flight of steps of doom. And somewhere in there we'll jog anyway. But for the most part, 6 miles in the bag. We salvaged form. We got our back and everything in order. So can't complain. It is ungodly hot. It's amazing what a little splash of water will do. I'm like, I'm alive. It's all momentary. So anyway, the story Spivak will remember. Punchline for you, my dear friend Alex. An event that Dylan connects this with Alex. Is I'm just getting so frustrated. And I'm a meme guy. I was like the team meme guy, right? And then my boss made me take this training called Words Matter, where they're showing like how a meme could be misconstrued in the court of law. Really sucked the fun out of my day. It's great training. It's really, it was necessary. It's nice when your boss is like, hey, I think you need to work on this. Here's a training to show you need to work on this. And you take the training, you're like, but that's stupid. I don't want to work on that, which is why you need to work on it, right? It's very well positioned timing of that training. But here's your little river walk along the Todoroki ravine. Plus we get to steal a cool breeze and pretend that the sun doesn't exist for a little moment. Alex keeps firing off all these red lines back and forth between me having meetings because the team's got to start the testing on Wednesday. Let's say I finish the automation Monday, get out to California Tuesday, and I got to get them going on Monday. So I got to get these things finished. And we were working team was East Coast, I was West Coast. So like everyone's staying up late trying to figure it out. It's a mess. Trying to run my stuff, make sure it makes sense. Finally, I get so fed up with Alex and his antics, even though he was right and I was wrong. Like, there's this meme of like Buzz Lightyear extending his arm out, you know, saying like you'd insert something and be like, because I think he's like marshmallows everywhere, s'mores everywhere. I forgot exactly where the meme comes from, but it's like something everywhere. And I was just like, rejection everywhere. Like, and anytime Alex replied to me with edits on my document, I would punish him. I would forward him a meme with my edits. You're like, oh, thanks for letting me know. Let me make those changes. Rejection. Rejection everywhere. Probably sent him that meme like a good 15 times. But then, you know, it comes up in a court of law. Our test stand led to poor results, which led to poor device failure, which led to someone getting stabbed by the robot. Not true. None of that true words matter. And this was so preliminary, we're not even on said platform anymore. It just informed the direction of design. It's an extreme example. Someone pulls up this meme of like rejection everywhere. It's like, you seem to have sent this meme about 12 times. Seems like you have a blatant disregard for the need of my patient. Or whoever they're defending, right? It's like, then you have to explain the intent of sarcasm in a court of law and all the backstory, and then you seem incompetent, and then my attorney's like, I'd like to file a motion, or can we take a rest? Give me a pep talk of like, Joe, why'd you have to send that meme? I didn't know about that meme. And like, I didn't remember that meme. It was just a bad week. I didn't know what I was doing. That's what I say when I'm like under fire by the persecutor. It was a bad week. I had a flight to catch. I was watching my son. I didn't know what I was doing. I was frustrated. It's like that moment where like the defendant cracks in each trial because of a Buzz Lightyear meme. Oh man. So anyway, hopefully Spivak remembers that meme. There's another good one I sent. We went to. I can't share this one. Can I share this one? No, I can't. It's so punny though. It's so good. Can't share it. Can't share it. It's a good one. No, I can't share. I'm like trying to figure out how to position it. But then if there's somebody from Intuitive, it's funny. I'm exhausted. I don't want to walk and talk next to other people. I'm hot and sweaty. And people are just, you know, heading to the train station to start their morning commute. Like Bob over there. Shintaro-san. Which is just Japanese Bob, basically. I was like, well, I could walk faster. I could run past him and keep talking. Or I can like walk in a little weird circle, like a dog pacing before it finds somewhere to sit. And then just walk slowly behind him. That's where my motivation landed me. Slowly behind him. So I can still chat with you and not exert myself. Because I've done enough. We're like 5.8 miles. So let's run. Crap. You talked me into it, thanks. Stupid virtual accountability buddies. It's terrible. Is that your neighborhood? Well, Dylan, I can neither confirm nor deny that I may or may not live in somewhat generally kind of this area. Reason being, there are people that can take screenshots and pull up a map. I will disclose, I travel an undisclosed distance away from my home to begin my workouts. And if people wanted to work hard enough about it and try to calculate average wake-up time to average start time and where I do the majority of my runs or other content, if people wanted to geolocate me, they can figure it out. So, I'll loosely say no. Right now, we're in an area called Todoroki. It's a great city. And from time to time, I frequent it personally. But I will say it's far enough away that I don't really frequent it with my entire family. Fair enough. Dylan's like, geez, just trying to be friendly. Trying to keep my kids safe. Okay, just gotta run to that curb and we're done. Oh. You can make it, don't give up, Dylan. You have to exercise, remember, it's good for you. You purchased the DadBod expansion plan, which means just by watching this content, you actually get the physical results you desire from a health and wellness perspective, from the comfort of your Japanese study chair. And actually, we're in Todoroki. It's in a prefecture called Setagaya, which is southwest of Tokyo. And then it's cut off by the Futaku Tamagawa River. That river pours out into Tokyo Bay. If you cross the river, like we did today, ta-da, you're in Kawasaki in Kanagawa Prefecture. So, it's a cool area. I will say it is a little bit more posh of an area. It's not Roppongi posh or Minato posh, but like some of these homes are very large and very nice for Japan. So, and there's a lot of expats in this area. But I will not confirm nor deny the location of my residency until I text it to you and we hang out. It'll be good. Okay. By the way, Dylan, I've decided, like, for each person that I'm continuing to stay connected with beyond J&J, you know, in the coaching, friendship, friend tour spaces, I have different means of communicating with them, whether it's going to be line, texting. I'm actually trying to push a good portion of them just to email because it's easier for me. I could open it and close it and I don't have to jump between 15 different apps, which destroys my brain. But I think I'm going to stick with email, probably even your work email. I think we might have corresponded between work and personal, just so that I can keep interrupting your work day. I think it's good for you. Alright, home stretch. Now we get to see if my bike got towed. Now I won't disclose if I bike here. We're trained
Total
here.
distance 6 miles.
6
Total
miles.
time 1 hour 34 minutes and 10 seconds. Split pace 18 minutes 9 seconds per
Slow
mile.
run. 18 minutes today, but you know what? We got all 6 miles. So we're going to count it. There's the ravine. It's actually really nice. It's been closed for a while. I'm hoping they open it. Some trees fell. But Dylan and friends, I'm going to pop off, go be a husband, train my wife as her coach, and feed my kids and all the other fun and important stuff. So I'll see you on the next one, bud. Bye.